All right, so I didn't have time to change the title, but the title should be "Why is Shiba Inu, Bone, and everything going down right now?" But we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about SHIB, talk about Bone. Got a full house, of course. We've got T Hobbs, J Seals, Austin in the house. What's up, guys?
What is going on, brother? How you doing?
What'd you put on? Hobbs, what'd you put on, man? Look at that. It's serious. That's a serious cap, man.
Hey, man, this is hey. Backstage, Zach told me he was gonna put on his Florida hat. So I said, man, let me go back and put on my Chicago hat. You know, the weather's a little different in Chicago.
There you go. All right, I'm gonna do this. Okay.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
Oh man, Scooby. So what's up, guys? I mean, the market here dumping. So we've got a few things happening all at once here, and let me show you Yahoo Finance here. Hot PCE index hitting tech stocks hard right now, but hitting crypto as well. What else is going on, Hobbs?
Well, man, we had a few things coming in today. Today has been a huge catalyst day in the market altogether. I mean, if you look at the overall market, you look at the Dow Jones down about 300 points. You look at, or 330 points now. You look at the S&P 500 down 40 points, and the NASDAQ is down roughly about 200 points respectively, right? But there's more to the story than that, right? Today in the economic data, of course, we got PCE, and PCE came in a little bit hotter than expected. Consumer spending is up, and also consumer sentiment is up. Home sales are through the roof. But then we have all of these Fed speakers that are talking, and it's just making the market be extremely volatile. The fact that home sales are up, consumer sentiment is up, and consumer spending is up doesn't really bode well for the Fed's overall plan. The Fed's overall plan, he wants to see the economy slow down, not continue to speed up while inflation is going up. Inflation came down our previous report, right? We're still in the high sixes. We want inflation to come down to 2%, but we also want the economy to slow down. The economy's not slowing down, and the consumer is continuing to spend, which ultimately spirals us into the recessionary talk because the consumer's spending, but they're spending on borrowed money. That's what you don't want to happen. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now. So, I mean, as the market comes down, like I always say in the shop, whatever you see the stock market do, you need to be paying attention to crypto because crypto is going to do it tenfold. If you saw this morning, as of last night, people were saying, oh, BTC is looking good. And all week, me and Justin have been saying BTC does not look good because the market doesn't look good. The market's falling down on a weekly basis. We're watching BTC and we're saying we started, simulating a short on Tuesday on BTC. In one of our accounts, we said, hey, we're going to short the market. I think it's coming down to 23.5. We were at about 25,000. Everybody's like, oh, no, it's not going. I'm like, I'm telling you, it's most likely going to come to 23.5 before it pumps through 25. Look at the market today. We hit 23.5. We kept falling. I think we hit like 22.9 at some point. But that's because crypto follows the movement of stocks. Right now, stocks are rallying because each one of these Fed speakers that are speaking right now, Fed Governor Jefferson, Cleveland Fed, Loretta Mester, Bullard, Collins, Waller, they're all speaking right now. And everything that they're saying, the market's fluctuating in between it. One person says something good, the market pumps. Next thing you know, BTC's back over 23K. Next thing you know, Bullard or somebody else says something negative, we drop another 400 points. So the market's going to be in flux all day. It depends on how we end and what happens tomorrow over the weekend. See, and now the market's ripping as we speak right now. So it's crazy. It's just crazy. It's crazy. By the time we get done with this, we could be having a bullish conversation on crypto. So,
but that means it's a trader's paradise, right? Volatility is the name of the game, right?
Continuation in volatility is the name of the game.
If you know what the hell you're doing.
The markets are super volatile, but the moves aren't continued because of all of the different opinions. So this is a trader's paradise, but you got to get in and get out because if you stay in too long, the market will literally reverse 20 points after it ran 20 points. So you just got to be careful in these areas, right? So,
Justin, what's on your mind?
I mean, I just think the overall trend is down right now. I think that what we see in the stock market is just going to slowly bleed over to BTC and ETH. I think we're starting to see that slowly, but I was looking at the day chart today and, BTC just making slow gains back down, but it's going to hit a level where we're going to get a massive dump because we saw a lot of big green candles on the way up. And as fast as we can rise, we tend to fall that much quicker. So, I just think that a lot of retail traders have a lot of euphoria right now. BTC, I think at one point was up like 50 or 46% on the year. And I mean, we're only in February, right? So, I mean, that's really, really good. But I just don't think the bear market's over with yet. I just don't see this. I see a reversal coming. I don't think we've touched the lows yet. I think a lot of people felt like the bottom was in because we started seeing big green candles. And I'm sorry to tell you, but the economy hasn't changed, right? Inflation is still a problem. The Fed keeps telling us repeatedly over and over and over again that inflation will come down to 2% no matter what. So they're going to keep raising interest rates no matter what. Everybody's waiting for this pause. He keeps telling us there's going to be no pause. There's going to be no pause. I don't know how many times he has to say it. Not to mention the last time he spoke, or it was either when he spoke or in the actual FOMC minutes that came out, they literally said that they're upset with where the stock market's at right now. What does that tell you? It means it's going to come down. So, I mean, look, if you got in late, I think now could be a good time to either don't worry about it or pull out and come in at lower prices, because I think that we're going to test lower prices. And if you haven't gotten in, then I think that you'll see some good prices here fairly soon. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for.
That's good stuff. Yeah, this tweet actually came out this morning. BTC could be stuck in a bearish Elliott wave pattern despite cryptocurrency's 47% year-to-date rally. I think a lot of people expected one more drop, but then as 2023 has started here, the first 2 months, people were like, well, maybe the bottom's in, because we just saw, 47% move from, the start of the year to now. So maybe it's maybe a little delayed, but maybe we will get that final drop. If we do, what are you guys looking for in terms of a Bitcoin price? Where are you a buyer?
Oh, good question.
Austin, if you want to take it, or I mean,
I'm gonna let the big brains. I'm gonna let the TA brains speak before I.
So I've been buying a little bit every day since April 2022.
Yeah, I mean, DCing in fine. Yeah, I get that. But what do you guys, J Seals, Hobbs? What are y'all thinking there?
Yeah, I mean, for me, we pretty much been talking about it, right? Like, and look, I don't like to predict things, but here's what I will say. For me, the market, the overall stock market, has an opportunity to come down roughly to 3953, 3950, right? If you look at the stocks, 3950 on ES, which is roughly where the bottom was before, and we touched that area, right? I think that we could come down there and retest that area before this is all said and done. At that time frame, when we touched that area, what did the market look like? Well, the market at that time frame when we touched that area, I believe it was in October. Go back and look at the BTC chart. What you got going on this chart right here? But if you go back and look at BTC at around October, that's where I think the bottom of the actual stock market was kind of tested, right? I think we've never gone lower than that on the actual stock market, right? So if you go to the day chart and go back to like October, I think it was October. Let me see.
Yep. We see October, so right in here.
Yeah, let me I have it on my chart. I'll share my screen and I'll pull up the ES real quick.
Yep.
Just so I can show you guys kind of on my screen exactly kind of what I'm looking at. Give me 1 second. Oh, this is future. Watch this. Let me go to future. Okay. And then let me share my screen real quick. Okay. All right. So if you look here, right? Let me make this look not crazy. Okay, now it doesn't look as crazy. Okay, so if you look here during all of this downtrend, right? We look at the day chart. This wick right here, this area right here, was the last time the market touched bottom, right? Since COVID, this is probably as low as we've been, around 3953, since we hit the all-time highs. If you look back on that date, right, that's October 12th, right? So if we go to crypto over here, right, we hit crypto and we go over to BTC and we look at October 12th on BTC, go over to the day chart, September, October. All right. So we go about right here on BTC. If you use this as a guide, that puts us at about like 18.2. So I don't think Bitcoin is going to fall out of the sky, so to speak, because the reason why we got here, the next drop was because of most likely FTX, right? So the floor could be 18, it could be 17. Nobody really knows. Everybody that says something is 1000% a guesser. at this point. But based off the economy, right? Based off what I'm seeing out of the economics tell us that we're not done coming down. And as long as I still see that, I will hold this BTC short and see where it goes. It's currently up $4,100, so we'll just let it flow, you know. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
I guess my big question, and appreciate everybody tuning in. If you guys haven't hit that like button, subscribe down below too as well. Help us push us up the old algorithm. Appreciate you guys for joining. My big question is, last year we saw crypto, I think for the first time in a full year at least, really follow the stock market closely. Was that an anomaly? Like, meaning, was it a one-off, or is this the new normal? Like, how closely will crypto follow the stock market if the stock market continues to go down? What do you guys think? I mean, do you think we're at a point now where crypto's big enough that it follows the macro trends, or what do you guys think about that?
I'll go.
Yeah, I mean, I can answer it, but I don't want to pick up all the time.
For me personally, I don't think that we detach ourselves from the stock market until true regulation comes in. To be completely honest, I think once crypto becomes its own legit asset class, when it's all said and done, and we get our commodities, we get our securities, I think that's when we'll see the shift come into play. To be completely honest, because the other thing, just to add on to T Hobbs, what I'm looking at as far as the potential, quote unquote bottom is 18,000. I completely agree that was like the true bottom without FTX. But what I'm worried about with crypto is more the regulation side, and how the SEC has been really coming after all these crypto companies as of late, and how they've been pretty much bullying crypto. You know, they've been talking about coming after stable coins now, and that's not going to be good for crypto. That could be the next, black swan event. So for me, I'm just thinking that once the dust settles, once we get some regulation, I think then it'll start to kind of diverge between the stock market and crypto being two separate asset classes. And I don't know why I'm big on the screen right now, but okay.
Yeah, see, I had to throw a wrench in there.
You're the only one. You're the only one without a hat on, I guess.
I thought you put your
Austin. I thought
he put on Scooby Doo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not putting a hat on, but I like the back table you got there.
I mean, to Justin's point, I think to your question, right? The money that was put into it doesn't bother me. Look, the money that was put into the stock market, into actual portfolios, right? That money is what caused the market to initially rip. It was when BTC was down at $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 a share. It wasn't moving with the stock market because it wasn't big enough. It wasn't big enough because the amount of liquidity wasn't in it. The liquidity wasn't in it because the big players weren't in it. The reason why crypto was able to move from $10,000 to $70,000 a share is because the big players came to play, right? Therefore, where's their money? If we got big players, where's their money tied to? When they put their portfolios into crypto, right? You guys have a little, everybody has a different level of money in here, right? But if we all put our money in the same asset classes, we're most likely going to sell and buy around the same time. So if your big portfolio, a big institutional portfolio, decides, hey, stocks, we're going to put crypto and we're going to tie it to tech stocks. If tech stocks decide to sell off, my portfolio manager is automatically going to sell everything in my tech stock portfolio. That's why when you see tech stocks, you see Microsoft, NVIDIA, everything. Yesterday, 2 days ago, NVIDIA had earnings. NVIDIA ran up $30 after hours. From that point forward, BTC shot up through the roof. The market wasn't even open, but NVIDIA ran, so BTC ran. So when people start buying NVIDIA, the big money isn't saying, I'm just going to buy NVIDIA. No, the big money's buying NVIDIA, Apple, Tesla, AMD, Amazon, Google, and they're buying BTC and ETH. So to answer your question, the market moves with big pockets. Liquidity pocket to liquidity pocket is how the market moves. And if you have a big pocket, you're going to move the market. So to me, that's as simple as it gets.
Do you think this rise that we've seen in 2023 has been strictly retail then? Do you think the big money has even come back into crypto since reaching the tops?
I think it's levels to this retail shit, push, right? Like I think there's levels to this shit, right? So big money, right? There's large pockets and then there's like colossal pockets, right? I think that retail is definitely in here. This is retail that probably sold at 70,000, right? They probably sold BTC at 70,000, and they might have had, you know, 10 or 20 of them. So now they're buying back up this dip. But I think the real big money, they don't really care if they're buying at higher prices. They care that they're buying the trend when the trend is truly turning. And that's why I don't think we're able to break through 25K, because big money, aka smart money, if you look at Bookmap or any other level where you can see orders, big money is sitting right at 25,000, and they're loading the boat on short positions at 25,000, because they know if you come up here, we're not letting it pass 25K. That's why every time BTC touches 25K, we dump right back down.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you could see it right here. I mean, just like the day on the dailies here. I mean, right up in there. 25.2 seems to be like the kind of the number, and just right back down.
So Hobbs, finish the rest of that equation. What you just said: short money, big short money loaded at 25.
Yeah. So
what's the step from there? Is it once those contracts have ran out and they're like, okay, cool, we made our money? What pushes us past that for people who are listening?
Yeah, so those contracts don't run out. They don't expire, right? Like they could hold that short forever, right?
Yep.
They very well could. What's going to change their mind is the macroeconomics. Once big money, aka smart money, they might get liquidated at certain levels, right? Because they might not see the pump coming. They're not always correct, right? They got liquidated when BTC went on a $4,000 week, right? They got liquidated. So they were wrong at that point. But they said, okay, they got liquidated, they took a hit, and then they just moved their position. All that liquidity that's being pumped into the markets right now, when it hits a 25-2 level, they're selling the market back down. Now, what changes their mind is when we see a Fed pivot, when we see inflation coming down below maybe 4%, 5%, when the economy starts to really change. Guys, since we started this interest rate hike, inflation's been coming down, but what's really changed in the economy? Nothing. Jobs are going through the roof, which means that the economy is still extremely strong. The consumer sentiment is going up, even though we're spending, and we're spending freaking credit. The average used car, or the average car monthly payment in America right now is $777. Is that sustainable?
No.
People that are making $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
That's never happened in the US. That is not sustainable. So until those things start to change, the market's going to be in a downtrend, in my opinion.
So final thought around that, bringing it back to say Bitcoin in that scenario and kind of tying in the inflation scenario, the Fed meeting on mid-March. So to your point, to make sure I'm following you, because this is very interesting, to your point is that we will continue to have the big smart money either A, push down at 25.2, or B, let's say we do break through that, then they're just going to move those positions. They might take them hit. They might move that position to 27,000 or whatever it is. But also they're going to continue to do that until we see a true positive impact in the inflation reports, the jobs, the CPI, the PCE, and or what the Fed's going to do. Is that an accurate assessment of, or kind of restatement of what you just said? Because right now, what I hear you saying is, I'm looking at that inflation scenario, Hobbs, and I'm going, nothing's really changing.
Nothing's changing.
So we're going to have these situations where the short positions on Bitcoin might move a little bit, but we'll consistently keep those positions pushing back, right? We'll keep being rejected at certain small incremental levels. Is that an accurate way to kind of think about that per what you just said?
1,000%. To give an analogy of how I view the Bookmap situation, like the orders, the log book, right? That's what Bookmap is. It's kind of like a log book of orders that are in real time, right? Think about it, and I gave this analogy to Justin. He liked it, so I know it must be good, right? Think about the market orders that come in every single day as a moving train, right? The train is just continuously moving. Market orders. At certain levels or at certain stops on the train, there are certain pockets of liquidity, meaning orders that haven't been filled at those levels. The train will stop at those levels, whether up or down, the train will stop and fill with a certain amount of orders, but it won't. The train will continue to go because people are still putting market orders in. The only way that this train reverses is if the amount of sell orders that come into the train turns the train around and says go back, or the amount of buy orders that go on the train pushes the train forward. Right now at 25.2, the amount of sell orders greatly outweigh the amount of buy orders. So unless the market orders, meaning people just literally hitting the buy button, unless the amount of market orders come in heavier, we're not going to be able to push through that area. So what's going to happen is the train is going to start coming down, and information like this is going to help that train turn around in the opposite direction, because now market orders are coming in and they're agreeing with the limit orders to sell Bitcoin versus buy Bitcoin.
It's good stuff. We got John Anderson from Clearcryptos with us too. John, you want to hop in? Or
not really, just listening.
What's going on, John?
I'm good.
I'm a listener today.
He said not really.
Nice, brother.
No.
Well, I know John had a short order in on this. I know he's making some money here on the crypto going down, right, John?
I'm making a bit of money.
there you
Okay, I told you to put all your stuff in stable.
Yep. Where do you think this stops, John? Where do you think the bleeding stops?
So 22.8 is a good trend line. I would probably write it out to 22,000 at least. That's where I'm trying to write it out to. But I have my stop loss at break even now, so it's just me writing now.
Hobbs is agreeing.
Hey,
And then 20,000 is
Good.
also a good spot to stop at as well.
20,000 even.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about this in Discord earlier today, and I had my stop. And again, I'm simulating my short. I'm not actually making any money, just to be clear. But I had my stop. I entered the short at around 24.583, and I had my take profit around 23.5. But when I saw the news this morning, I moved my take profit down to about I put it down at 22,000 basically. But I was looking at 22.8 is going to be my first area to say, okay, if we break through 22.8, 22.7, then I think that we'll come all the way down to 22,000. But yeah, the way you're thinking about the market is exactly the way I'm looking at the TA as well.
And if you guys are looking to
so
go ahead, John.
how I actually do my trades is I put in range highs and range lows. So whenever you saw, I think the top was 24.8, and then it ended up at 25.2, and then it dipped right back under 24.8. What I usually do is just take those ranges and I play within those. But with how quickly it dropped, I think we're probably seeing it go lower.
Yeah, I agree. And that's that selling pressure, that the speed of that train is increasing. So yeah.
I mean, Obbs, John, whoever wants to take this, if you look at the landscape, right, from now until say the FOMC meeting, Zach, correct me, is March 14, 15. Is that right?
That sounds right. I can cross check that though. Yeah.
So Hobbs, I mean, kind of where you go. To me, this was the final nail in the coffin for at least. And what I'm saying is the PCE report today. We had jobs, CPI, PCE. None of them great. All of them, eh. And now we have this no man's land until FOMC meeting, call it mid-March, right? So we're going to have volatility. The market's not going to do shit, if you will. It's going to kind of do this little 1 or 2% up down thing and all this. So there was a question in there. I've lost my mind. Oh, so there's no, that's senility. That's it's kicking in. It's that volatility. So to me, it's just become. Fuck, I don't know what I was going to say. I don't know. There was a question there.
Well, let me help you out.
Now leading into that, I mean, just this kind of volatility,
Well, you got to remember, we still have initial jobless claims. We get those once a week.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Initial jobless claims, and then there'll be little things that kind of pop up in between now and March, right? But here's the thing. Ultimately, the market's probably going to follow the trend. The market is in a downtrend right now. You look on the day chart, you look on the week chart. Look at any chart in a longer time frame. You never fight the trend. As a trader, people tell you don't fight the trend. Right now, the market's in a downtrend, and there's no reason for us to start an uptrend. Right? We're selling off, and you have the fear, right? If you go to CME Group, I believe before CPI came out, I think they were at like a 5% chance. I think Justin was telling me of a 0.5% basis point hike, right? Yeah. Last we checked, before PCE, after CPI, they went up to about a 20 or 30% chance. If 0.5% starts to come back on the table, you can best believe this market is going to come down further. So the market may actually be pricing in 0.5 right now because we're selling off. We're selling off like crazy. So if we get 0.25, maybe we get another little rally. But we're just going to do this little seesaw thing until CPI actually starts to come down. And to Justin's point, the Fed is telling you, and if you look at those minutes, literally they said they don't like the market rallying, right? I don't know how much clearer you can be as a Fed to say, stop buying, right? Like that's basically what they're saying. Stop buying, let us fix it, and then you can rally. But, we hard-headed, man.
But you know what, right? You know, one of the most concerning things that you said to me, or you said, not to me, but you said earlier when we started this, was personal debt. That, I agree with what you just said about the Fed, the minutes, stop buying, but the fact that personal consumption, personal debt is rising, and I've lived through a couple of these big defaults, these big bubbles, and because I got the gray hair, I've been around the proverbial,
just a couple,
like 8,
okay.
Like I remember I saw a guy jump off the building in the 1920s. I mean, I was there. He hit my, got blood on my shoes. I mean, shit, but but I mean that's concerning to me, brother. Honestly, that because I honestly look at a lot of things. That's why I love talking with you guys, you and Jay Seals, because I know y'all are looking at all those other variables, and the consumer debt thing. Jesus, man,
it's crazy, and the consumer debt being so high, and then we see consumer sentiment is increasing. That's a scary idea. That's literally a recipe. That's a recipe for recession, right? Yeah. Because eventually the consumer is going to be wrong. Let's be clear. Right now, the consumer's not spending cash, because if the consumer was spending cash, the debt wouldn't be so high. It's the highest it's been since, I forget what year, but it hasn't been this high in a very long time. And then you add in the fact, I mean, my nephew works for a car dealership. He's been hitting me up every day. Hey, you want to go get your Tesla? Like, I can get you a good deal. I'm like, yeah, I want a Tesla, but I'm not dumb enough to buy a car right now.
Yeah.
Right. And not trying to say anybody is dumb for buying a car. Do whatever you want. But for me, I think it's a horrible time to buy anything on credit. Word of advice, and this is financial advice, right? Because this is smart to do. This is a word of advice. Take this opportunity to pay off your debt in this time frame. Pay off all your debt. And you should be doing that anyway. But this particular time, you don't want to carry debt. You want to pay off your debt to your credit cards, your house. I mean, maybe not your house because that's locked in, right? But your car note, like, get these things down and just stay cash heavy. The strongest position during a bear market is cash, or unless you're a shorter, like a bear, like John down there, you can short the hell out of BTC right now. Just saying.
Yeah, just to add some context to what y'all were talking about, CPI, the next CPI is March 14th, and then the Fed meeting is March 21st and 22nd. So they're going to be using that CPI data to try to figure out, 50 basis points, 25 basis points. And I mean, I don't know what CPI is going to be. Nobody does. I'm pretty sure they probably already have a good idea. But one thing that I just want to mention as well is that 2 of the Fed speakers came out and said that there were multiple Fed board members that were willing to raise 50 basis points last meeting. So if they were willing to do it last meeting, then more odds than not, they're going to be willing to do it this meeting as they see the market start to tumble and these worse and worse economic events unfold. So I would just be more on the side of caution that 50 basis points is definitely not out of the realm of possibility. Like Hobbs said, it's sitting at 29% right now for the CME group. But if you don't know what CME group is, they're market makers, right? So they're the ones who actually make the market. So, just food for thought.
Absolutely, man.
Okay. That's good stuff. Yeah, they definitely have a reason to do it this go around too, with all of the negative catalysts that are coming out today. So what else are you guys looking for? I mean, this was supposed to be about Shib and Bone. I guess we could talk about that a little bit. I know that I mean, this is how it goes though. When you go live, you set it a couple hours and then something happens. We got to talk about the overall market's going down right now. But what about Shib and Bone? Bone gets listed on Gate.io today. Shibarium, I think, very, very dangerously close from what we're hearing. This could throw a little wrench into it with the market coming down. Might not have the impact it would have a few days ago. But what do you guys think about the future of the ecosystem? I know a lot of people here want to hear about Shib and Bone. Whoever wants to start first. And Leash. Don't forget about Leash.
Go ahead, Hobbs.
Oh, yeah, I got you. My bad. First of all, Zach, I just want to go back in time about 3 weeks, being on your show, and I want to slap the crap out of both of us, right? Because we said this. We knew this was going to happen, and I'm talking about Leash for you guys that don't know what I'm talking about. Me and Zach did like 3 live streams, like back to back, week over week on the weekend, and everybody was talking about Bone, and we kept pulling up Leash saying, "Hey man, like Leash is only at 318 right now, 350, 360." We was like, you know what? Every time I buy it, every time I look at it, it just gets higher and higher. But I don't want to buy on green candles. And here we go, right? Leash. Yeah. So I finally bit the bullet about a week ago, and I bought a half a Leash, right? I bought one half of Leash at like 620. And I'm excited with that position. But my thought process was, even if I'm buying at the top, then I'll be able to average down if Leash comes down and get the other half of it. If not, at least I catch half of the run. Now, to Bone and Shibarium. Shibarium, to me, I think it's done. I think it's been done for a while. This is just my theory. I don't have anything to back this up. But I think that Shibarium has been, oh my God, the market's tanking right now. I think that Leash and Bone, I think the Shibarium has been done, and it's been done for a while. I just think that the developers over at Shib understand and recognize the economy that we're in. And I think that they're trying to kind of drag it out with beta, with games, metaverse talk, so that they can continue to have the hype. And then when the market actually turns bullish, I think that that's when we'll actually see Shibarium. In regards to where we are, don't be fooled. Bone and Leash deserve this run because they're worth every single penny. But understand what this run is. What we got was a buy the rumor, sell the news twice. We got once because Shibarium was on the way out, right? Definitely warranted. And then twice we got because Gate.io was going to be listed. But what do you get from that? There's a positive that comes from that. One is volume increases because people buy it, and then they sell the news. That's still volume, right? And then two, the second part of that is that Bone creates a new floor. Because even though the price went high, some people will sell the news and others will hold. So I think overall, Bone, Leash, and Shib, that entire ecosystem is going to be compatible with the ecosystem we know today, which is BTC and ETH, right? I think that Leash will be the BTC of the ecosystem. God knows how high that can go. It's only got 107,000 in total supply. I think that Bone will be the ETH of that ecosystem because it's the gas fee. And I think that Shib will be the native token that continues to get burned, and the token that brings everybody into the ecosystem. So those are my thoughts.
The crazy thing about Bone too, I'll just make a quick point and then whoever else wants to jump in. So look at this. I mean, the supply is gone. It's all out there. So that
I didn't even realize that 100% circulating right now. So
it's 100% circulating right now. It's gone. So and
that is crazy. That is a crazy stat. I did not know that. Damn.
230 million. It's out there. So, and now we're getting listed on Gate, which is the largest exchange. It already brings millions of dollars of volume to a lot of other altcoins. I mean, we're not even listed on Binance or Coinbase yet.
Which will happen.
Have we ever seen that before, where all the supply was just out there?
No, not.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. I think that's a rarity. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, I mean, so this is going to get pretty crazy with Bone, and we don't know exactly what it's going to look like in terms of the amount burned on every transaction too. But I think that's going to incentivize a lot of people to use Shibarium, and you're going to have Bone. So supply and demand should tell us that Bone still is at a pretty good price.
The only X factor the only X factor I see for Bone, and I know that all of us have done the SHIB videos and talking about Shibarium, and that when it does launch, which I think it's sooner, Hobbs, I think we'll see it by next week. I think that's what I think. But again, we're all speculating here. I think it's been ready. I don't think they're going to time the market because the market's going to suck any way you put it. But the issue I see is that most people don't understand that when Shibarium goes live, it's a beta testnet version, and they're like, "Oh, it's here, yay!" And now we're going to start magically burning SHIB, and Bone's going to go all this. I think that's the X factor for me, is that the education level, which is why I stress that all the time in my videos. It's a testnet version. They're going to come out, they're going to test it. That testing may go on for months before they go live with a mainnet version, or when they go live with a mainnet launch. I think Bone will pump, and I think SHIB will pump on the news unless we're just having a horrific couple of days in the overall macro environment. Yeah. And yes, I have two stories. I bought some Bone at $1.04. I almost bought about $5,000 at 20 cents. Pissed at myself I didn't do that. I got to give a shout out to Jonathan Manis, one-legged bandit, my boy over there. He's got what did he say, Zach? $20,000 worth of Bone, or that he bought like a million years ago. I mean,
yeah, he's posted his wallet.
I got to give the boy credit.
He's got a ton of SHIB, and he was a very, very, very early investor in SHIB. Yeah. To Peyton's point, real quick, just let me throw this in. What size is a good bag of Bone? It all depends, but to become a validator, 10,000 Bone is what you need to become a validator. So that just to give you an idea there, but at which Jonathan will be a validator.
I got about 4,000. I bought 2,500 at 2,500 worth at 60 cents.
It's a nice little 3x right now. That's nice.
I mean, I bought it at $1.04.
I told Justin to buy it at $1.04, so he's hard.
No,
$1.18.
Justin, do you have any? Do you have any?
No. So here's what happened. I'm gonna explain the situation. So I wanted it at $1. I was at work and it dropped down to like $1, I think 18, 19, like a couple, like I think it was last week or something like that. By the time I got home, it was back up to like $1.42. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah. So ate quick.
Yeah, it did. But here's my thing. I agree with all of you guys. And to Austin's point, my big thing about just Shibarium in general is, what is this testnet gonna look like? That's what hinges whether I buy Bone now or later. Right, because I all transparency, I wanted $1 or below. Don't know if it's going to get back down there, but the question is, does the testnet work? Is it going to start already burning? Like what is going to happen with this test, right? And if it all works and Bone goes crazy and it goes to $10, well, then I guess I'm gonna be buying it at like $5 because I'm not gonna let it run to 10. But if the testnet doesn't work and it's just kind of here you go. Here you kind of get to see the features, but it's not like everybody can use it, which is where I think they're kind of going with this. Then I think we're going to see a little bit of a drop just off of disappointment, right? Like just off of people saying, okay, well, I'm up at 2-3x. Let me go ahead and secure my bag now. And then, I'll buy back in when we get closer to the release. So that's kind of where I'm at with Bone. I still think it's great. Like, I think it's going to do well as Leash and Shib. But at the same time, I'm just like, what is Shibarium actually going to look like when they decide to launch this beta? So that's where I'm at.
And somebody was asking, what do you think happens, or what does that mean when supply is all the circulating supply is out there? So
nothing when it's gone. Like when
it's gone, you have to understand two things: supply and demand. Right? Those are the two things you need to understand: supply and demand. The reason why this is so impressive is because the circulating supply is all out there, right? The max supply is gone. It's all tradable, right? It doesn't mean that people aren't buying and selling Bone because it's there. It just means that the demand is high and the supply is depleted, like it doesn't exist. So the only
usually you're going to pay more for it.
The only thing that exists is demand. So as the demand increases, supply goes down. The only thing that goes up is the price you have to pay for it. So now it's all about how much are people willing to pay for it. So the price can still come down because people start to sell it at lower prices, right? So it's impressive, to say the least. You don't see this a lot. And I think Leash is going to get there as well. If it's not already close to it, I think Leash is going to get there too. So that's with those circulating supplies and supplies being so low, that's it's
This may be a stupid question though. So what does that mean for other exchanges that want to list Bone? They're not going to have their own.
They have to pay more for the token.
For the supply.
initial-
if
for the
the
initial
supply
supply,
is
yeah.
gone, they're not even going to be able to list it because they're not going to have any tokens to
Right.
list. Like
No, they
can't
Right.
do-
they can list it. They'll have to do they'll probably have to have market makers, right, instead of liquidity pools. So
Interesting.
they may not have, because I mean, what tokens does Bone have to give them,
Well, that's what I mean.
right? So
Well, if they're out of tokens, then they can't list it at all.
Uh,
They have to
I'm
go-
sorry.
they have to-
they're gonna
they have
list
to
it.
go-
Look,
they
they're
have to
gonna
go to
list it.
something.
Shiba doesn't
That's
know
what
how
I
to
thought.
do it.
Either that,
Well-
either that, or they'll have to buy the supply, right?
No,
They'll
no,
They'd
no,
have to
hold
buy
on,
them
hold
from
on.
people like us, though, right? They'd have to
Zach.
buy them from you and me.
But Zach, no, hold on. Dude, they held back.
They
I know
held
it
back a
said
certain amount,
29.
but that wasn't for exchanges. That was
was
for
for validators.
validators.
That's
Correct.
what I mean. So where are the tokens coming from for these exchanges?
That,
Like,
that's
they
I don't know.
they have to buy them, right? That's the only thing I can think of. They have to buy them.
Yeah, but if there's
And-
no tokens left, where are you going to buy them?
Well, it's not that
I
there's
mean-
no tokens left. There's just all the tokens are in circulation. They're in
circulation.
circulation.
No. I understand that part, but he's saying if all of them get bought up, there's zero left. That means they're
Right.
not
But then
getting
there
them.
would be no market, right? Like that's
Somebody's
not
always willing
Well,
to sell.
somebody.
Well,
The market
exactly.
exists because there's always a buyer and seller. So if they want to buy X amount of tokens, they can get them. They just got to pay for them. They're just gonna have
So
to
Well,
pay.
and then
traditionally,
it
though-
has to match up to a seller, which would be a market maker.
That would be
right?
them. That
But-
would be them.
I guess my point is that if there's no tokens left, if they're like in a
I'll
world
look
where
up-
they're all bought up, they're going to be extremely expensive to get. We're talking about extremely expensive.
That's what.
So-
Look, okay, all right. Here's a world. Try this on for size. Remember, ETH was at 99 cents, right? And remember, the supply kept getting bought up, and then it got burned. That's what happened. Or better yet, remember, Crow was at 3 cents or under a penny, and then the supply got burned, and then the price went up. So yeah, it's always going to be available. It's just the price is going to dictate. There's no world where the tokens don't exist or there's no market, right? The only world we live in is either things get more expensive or the price comes down. Hence Bitcoin and Ethereum. And that's why I'm so bullish on the Shiba ecosystem, because I feel like once people get it, once people truly understand it, Bone, that's why I'm not touching my Bone. I put my money in. I know I got a good price. Unless it comes back down to my price, I'm not touching it, because I believe that 5-10 years from now, or maybe 3, right? Whenever this ecosystem is done, SHIB has the opportunity. They have the ultimate utility that everybody knows you have to have in crypto or DeFi. The ultimate utility is community. SHIB has the strongest community in DeFi that I've ever seen, right? Like there's only one that maybe rival it as far as meme coins go, and that's probably Dogecoin. But even they're dying down a little bit. SHIB has the strongest utility, which is community, and they have the fact that they are already in vendors, right? Like they're already being accepted as a vendor. So once that happens, and they say, okay, now if you want to continue using SHIB, you have to buy Bone, right? In order to use SHIB, in order to burn our SHIB. So now it accelerates the rate in which SHIB is burned. So now Bone becomes even more valuable, and the supply is already gone. So where do we have to go? Up. The price has to go up. We're
I'm not
talking.
disputing that.
I'm looking at if ETH can go to 5K, I'm looking at Bone to go to 1,000. That's the way I'm looking at it. So
No, I'm not disputing that at all. I was just saying, look, at the end of the day, it's never all going to be bought up. But in the crazy world where it did get all bought up, you're talking about a crazy amount for one token of Bone. I mean, anybody who's holding Bone is going to be like a multi-millionaire at that point. So just food for thought.
I gotta go buy some more damn Bone.
hey man, all I'm saying is
If the liquidity
the
gets
proof is in the
bought up,
pudding.
you actually
Listen.
turn it into a liquidity crisis, though, and then the price is probably going to drop like 90%.
I'll take that. I'll still buy it up. I'll still buy it. Let the liquidity crisis bring on the crisis. Bring on the crisis. Because the reason why I say that, not out of stupidity and blindly buying Bone, because I'll never do that. But I say that because the utility doesn't change, right? What they plan on using it for doesn't change. And the fact that they have a huge community. Unless the only way I'm selling Bone and just really trying to get it out of my wallet is if the Shiba community loses faith in Siberia. If they just start leaving the community and people just start, really not wanting to mess with SHIB, that's when I'm selling, right? Because that's a change in sentiment, in mindset. But to me, the sentiment for the Shiba community is so strong that they will buy any dip. This is like COVID days in the stock market. Every dip was bought up, right? So
yeah. Willie's got actually a really good point though. He says, I believe Bone is the gas. You need to do a transaction, but if it's like Matic, you might need less than a penny to do a transaction. So one Bone might last you weeks. That's actually kind of interesting. Like maybe Bone might not make that run because Bone, you might not need as much Bone as you might think. Because right now we're kind of comparing it to Ethereum, where you need a lot of ETH to make a transaction. Well, so
Jay Seals, I mean the number we heard was that gas is going to, well, again, gas will. I'm using the word gas in association with Bone.
Right.
But Zach, the number we heard was 2 cents. Effectively, 2 cents worth of Bone is what a transaction is going to basically cost. That's a number that I remember did come out.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, it's interesting. Here's what it comes down to. I agree with you, Hobbs, and as well. I mean, it's a no brainer. I'm kicking myself that I would have bought it at 20 cents. It's just like, why the hell didn't I do that? But I didn't, so
I didn't understand it at 20 cents, right? I didn't understand the ecosystem at 20 cents.
I think for me, Shibarium was so far away, and I knew what it was going to be. We knew it was going to be the gas token for Shibarium. And oh, by the way, I had to go take a nap. There you go. Throw myself onto that bus because I know somebody already else has. So but I think it's going to go up. I think it's going to be relative to the test net expectations. I'm glad that you brought up utility is equal to community, because I do think that's fundamentally what it is. So.
Yeah, I mean, you can't push. Look, I love DeFi, and I love a lot of these projects out here, but I think some of these projects forget what it takes to be here. And the number one thing it takes to be here and thrive here, I don't care how good the product is that you're trying to bring to the masses. The masses won't buy it if you don't have a mass behind you.
Agreed.
You need it. You need a base of utility. I mean, you need the basis, which is community, in order to push any project in this space. And that's what people have to really focus on. And it doesn't have to be community of, a bunch of people that love the token. It could be buyers, right? Investors. That's why Clearcryptos to me is very intriguing, because of all of the partnerships that they're bringing to the table that bring population with it, right? People are people, whether they're community or population. Buyers are buyers, right? That's why it's important for you to look at projects to see where they're going to be pulling buyers from.
Yeah, I think with Clearcryptos, they're doing it a little bit differently. So last cycle, we saw the community tokens. They were the biggest gainers. It was not even close. I mean, Dogecoin, SHIB, they dominated the market. And they bring people in by social media, influence, marketing, want to be part of something special. Whereas like Clearcryptos, building on the enterprise side of things, they bring large amounts of people in through enterprise adoption. Through, oh my gosh, all of these people are connected to USFCR. Now we have the potential to reach 300,000 people just like that, right? So there's different ways to go about it for sure. But you're right, Hobbs. People are people. And once you build up that base, it really does help.
Yeah, I agree.
Will Binance US list Bone? I think it's only a matter of time until Binance.
They have to, right? Like,
Bone,
Gate.io is a top 10 exchange. Right? Gate.io, like that's people go crazy if a DeFi project got listed on Gate.io.
And Binance is the top holder of Shiba Inu, right? So they're incentivized.
So why wouldn't they list the ecosystem?
The ecosystem. I agree. Yeah. And with all that being said, Leash has, is years, well, not years, but what am I trying to say? I guess years behind Bone in terms of it's getting listed and so maybe that's
what I
the
said,
next
man. Look, stop playing. Stop playing, Zach, and go get you some Leash, man.
I picked up 3.
You did pick up 3? Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
You didn't tell me you bought 3 Leash.
He don't never tell me.
I don't
tell
broadcast
me.
I don't,
He doesn't.
I normally don't tell people either. I'll tell Justin, but then like people will start asking me so much. I'm like, okay, I got some, right? I don't
want to say it, and then it goes down, and then everybody's like, blah blah blah, So I'm like, all right, I'll just quietly
every damn day, and it's like 4 days later. Oh, I bought some Leash. What the fuck?
I put $1,000 in, and that got me 3. So what was it? It was like 330 a pop, something like that.
Yeah, it was like 330.
Hey, I got an itch right here. Sorry,
Oh, yeah, that was weeks ago then.
what is
Yeah,
this?
he bought it. He probably
I
bought it
the
that
other
day.
day.
He bought it that day I came on the show and was like, "Yo."
Yes, after we had talked,
I was like, "Yo,
$250.
we probably should be buying Leash right now." And Zach was like,
Yes.
this guy might be onto something."
And then he got a 2x out of it.
He got a 2x, and I'm over here buying at 650.
You
I'm gonna
didn't
let
take
that
your own
ride.
advice.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let it ride. The all-time high was what, $9,000? Damn near
Yeah,
9
like
grand.
7,500 or 9,000 or something like that. And I think that was just a taste of what it can do. I think if this and this all depends on if the ecosystem does what it's supposed to do, right? Which is bring in more holders of SHIB. Basically, SHIB can announce they're officially active, everything's good to go. And that's what will, and then when whales start to see that they can actually burn SHIB just by transacting through the ecosystem, it's a wrap, in my opinion. And I think that they'll start to move people. I think that when we're truly successful, you'll start to see people migrate from Ethereum over to Shibarium. And I think that's the key that's going to turn this thing nuclear. So,
my bad, Hobbs. I was blocking him. My bad. I didn't even realize this. So Gate.io is already listed Leash. I didn't even know that.
Didn't know
So
that
it's
either.
already-
Had no
yeah.
clue.
OKX
Had no clue.
and Gate. I mean, those are two big exchanges. I didn't even know that. So they actually,
I didn't know they listed Leash either. I did not know that.
So they're getting a lot of volume from those two exchanges, OKX and Gate right there. A lot of their volume coming through Uniswap, which same thing with Bone there in that regard. But I mean, this is still tiny compared to the others in the ecosystem. $73 million market cap. Man, Leash is looking strong. What other areas are you guys looking in terms of the markets? Like maybe different sectors? I mean, the AI sector has been big. Here's one that's been crushing it. Singularity Net. They just partnered with Cardano. You got Fetch AI. Are you guys looking at the AI cryptos right now? Are you interested in that sector? Gaming, I know, is another hot sector. Where else are you guys looking right now?
We've been seeing a lot of gaming. We've been seeing a lot of gaming out of DeFi, especially. Yeah. They've been WAGME for gaming. You got Gala, MMAI is dropping a game. Bolt is dropping a game. So a lot of DeFi projects lately have been coming out with games. So actually, we just covered 2 GTA 6, big huge game. Everybody knows GTA. They're even talking about having an in-game metaverse and an in-game cryptocurrency as well. So wow. I just think that this could be this year. We could see a lot of games come out that do very, very well.
Justin, so it's funny. I have a 14-year-old, right? A boy, and he is beyond excited for GTA 6. And I mean, I get a weekly update from him on GTA 6, like when it's coming and all that kind of stuff. So to your point, and they're saying that GTA 6, I think, is going to be the biggest game launch ever as far as how much they've invested in the IP. It's like 100 billion.
We did a video for Clear yesterday, and we were like insane, like blown away by the numbers. The last time GTA 5 dropped, they did 3 billion in 3 days, or they did $1 billion in 3 days.
Yep.
They're projected to do 1 billion in 1 day, the first day of launch in revenue. So like this thing could be.
Have they come out with what the cost basis for GTA 6 is going to be?
It's usually between 70 or $80 per game.
It's gonna be 70.
No, not to buy it. What it's cost to develop the game.
Nah, I don't know. I don't know those numbers, but I mean, what I will say in regards to metaverse, cryptocurrency, Web 2, Web 3, I think that the idea that the largest game ever created is potentially talking about putting in-game cryptocurrency as well as metaverse type deal. I think that should tell you everything you need to know. Not to mention, we didn't even talk about the Coinbase news yesterday, right?
Yeah.
I think the Coinbase news mixed with all of these things we're seeing, it's a little scary for the smaller projects in DeFi. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm going to keep it real. Like, it makes me feel like Big Brother's been watching, and now they're just coming to take all of your ideas and be able to really market them on a larger scale. Yeah. So I don't know where that leaves the smaller projects, right? Do we strive right next to them? Do they take us over and make us obsolete? I don't know. So
big money will always come.
Yeah, speaking of that Coinbase news, they're launching their layer 2, guys. If you guys missed that, layer 2 blockchain base to provide on-ramp for Ethereum, Solana, many others. It's been built on Optimism, which is another layer 2. And Coinbase has no plans right now to issue a new network token. This was another top story, came out yesterday too. Spotify testing Web3 wallet integration. This was interesting. So we saw some of the music cryptos make a nice little move upwards. Audius is one that I've talked about and I like. That one made a nice little jump, and a couple others. The VIB native token went up 33%. So this decentralized music streaming is another whole area, another whole sector. We've got, obviously the AI sector and big data, but music and gaming, it just seems like so many different areas ripe for blockchain, revolutions that I think we'll see in the next cycle. So this was another interesting one that I caught. So got a super chat here from EMAC. What's up, EMAC? Do we see BTC 150K plus for the halving event? Bitcoin halving 2024 spring. So usually historically, I think we've seen the big blow off top after the halving, like a little bit after, like there's some, time there that lapses. And then we've seen some big, 400, 500, 600% gains. But I mean, I think Bitcoin will eventually get there. What do you guys think? 150K. When do we see it?
Crickets.
What do you think?
Yeah, we don't like. I don't like.
I'll
give it a shot.
It's like March 17th, 2025.
Yeah.
Mark it down.
There you go.
Look, I'll say this. Everything that we've been saying, if you've been paying attention, it should lead you to an idea of where you should be looking at in regards to Bitcoin reaching that price. Do I believe Bitcoin is going to reach that price? No. I think Bitcoin is going to go 10 times higher than that, in my personal opinion, right? However, as far as when that will happen, I think that you have to wait until we defeat this anomaly. What we've witnessed in the last 3 years is an anomaly in economics, right? It's a black swan event. And I'm talking about the C word. I don't want to get, Zach knocked off YouTube. The C word completely changed the trajectory of our economy on the normal basis that we normally live. We went from 2% inflation CPI. Nobody cared about CPI. These reports would come out and we wouldn't even talk about them on YouTube, right? To the point where CPI ran to 9%. And now it's all anybody wants to talk about is inflation, right? Until that changes, until we kind of calm this market down, right? And this market is on a regular scheduled program, you can expect a fight all the way back up to any level on BTC. But as far as when do we get to 150, if the halving is next year on the 20 or in 2024 and we're done with inflation, it's possible, 100% possible.
Yeah, here's what I'll say. I don't want this to seem harsh, so I guess I'm stating that now. Normally when people say that, then it ends up being harsh. But right. But here's what I'll say. If you believe that Bitcoin can get to 150K, then stop living in the future, right? Because you don't know when it's going to happen. We can't tell you when it's going to happen. Instead, BTC is at what, 23K right now. So you're talking about like a little, like basically more than a 5x on your investment. So what you should be thinking instead of, well, can BTC hit 150K is where do I want to buy BTC until it hits 150K? That's what I'd be thinking about, because we can't. Oh, go ahead.
Or where could I put that money and have an easier shot at 5xing versus waiting for Bitcoin to go to 150,000? That's how I look at it. Maybe. Or that
too. But I guess my point being is, instead of living in the future, live in the now, right? Make decisions now that are going to affect your eventual future. So
I like that.
Austin, what do you think, man? What do you did you eat a gummy today? You're quiet.
Put this man out. You eat some fruit snacks today? You got some daily fruit snacks?
Eat a gummy. Yeah, I get that. Those are at the 7-Eleven here in Texas. They're so easy to get.
I know how you get. I know how I get like that too, man. Sometimes it just all the words are there, but it just can't. It just.
This is not a get Austin riled up conversation. No, I can't see shit now. No, I didn't eat a gummy.
That's hilarious.
That is funny. So I think, I know you pulled up Kathy Wood a minute ago, 1.5 million. I mean, here's the thing. I think number one, I agree with Jay Seals. Nobody knows. And anybody who says they know is full of shit, right? I mean, they're like, but here's what I do think. I think the value of Bitcoin will rise over time. Hell yeah. I think the halving event is the event. Hell yeah. And is $100,000 after that event? It is entirely possible and plausible. And how I look at it is like, I kind of like what Jay Seals was talking about. I look at it going, if I put $1,000 into Bitcoin today, am I willing to hold that long term? Am I willing to hold it for that 5x return? And or, which I believe in owning Bitcoin. I own Bitcoin. I own Ethereum, but I also am looking for other opportunities. So like I would look at it and go, all right, I might put some in Bitcoin and look for that 5x, 3x return, whatever it may be. But where also could I get a better return on my investment? For example, Bone. We've all been talking about Bone, and we've got this massive event. And I think Hobbs, you did an amazing job of kind of talking about the ecosystem and all the variables and leash and Bone and shib and all this kind of stuff. To me, there's ironically a better opportunity to put money in Bone and see a better return on that investment than say than Bitcoin right now. And I'm not saying they're either or. I'm saying if that's how I look at it, right? It's like, okay, where am I going to leverage that money if I'm willing to go place that money here or there? That's my answer. So there you go.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to see. I mean, if you go look at the outside of Bitcoin, Ethereum, really, and some of the other top ones there, BNB, some of the real big market caps, a lot of the cryptos, even in the top 100 that are big market cap, they 3x from the beginning of the year. Pretty much all of them. I mean, you look down there, it's like VeChain, like all those ones in like, the top 30 and below, they all pretty much 3x from the start of the year. At one point, now things are dialing back a little bit, but to your point, right? Yeah.
But let me ask a question of the two gentlemen, the two, again, that's why I love your guys' content and what you guys do. Y'all do look at it very linearly, black and white, TA, right? And so kind of take what I just said. And so if you were, do either of you look at that in that regard of like, okay, I could go buy Bitcoin and I'm playing for that 5x or whatever that is? Or do you look at it similarly, Hobbs or Jay Seals, like, okay, if I had $1,000, I'm not saying tell us where to go put it. I'm talking about how do you look at it from where you're going to put that money, right? And do you look at it like, okay, I have a better shot or reasonable expectation of a 5x, 3x, 7x over here in this one versus Bitcoin? Is that a fair question?
Yeah, my face wasn't to you. It was to the person that said, I love you, Maria. I think he's on the wrong channel. But look, I think what we're talking about here is percentage gains, right? Like percentage gains over, the popular game, right? I think the popular game is BTC and ETH, right? But if you're looking at it, if you take yourself out of the popularity contest or, hey, I got this, I'm loading up on ETH because that's what everybody says. I'm loading up on ETH. I'm loading up on BTC. Okay, listen. Most people, the average person doesn't have 25,000 to drop into Bitcoin. They also don't have 25,000 to drop into a significant amount of Ethereum. Well, how do you get to that 25,000? You have to make strategic percentage gains, right? Whether it's through day trading, whether it's through being a degen, whether it's through getting lucky or having several sources of income, and then you filter that into those. I think the best way to play this game is 1,000% what you're saying. You don't want to go to something that's already ran 10,000% like BTC. If BTC was any other asset besides it being BTC and you think it's going to run another 10 or 20x, you would look at a 10,000% return or run and be like, I'm not touching that. Why would I put my money in it now? It's already ran 10,000%. Right. I would much rather look at something like a CCX, like a MMAI, like maybe a Boat Eater, right? Like maybe obviously SHIB, Bone, the entire ecosystem. Why? It's because of the percentage game, right? I bought Bone 2-3 months ago, right, with $2,500 that I could have put in ETH, right? ETH was probably $1,200, $1,300. I might have got 2 ETH, right, for $2,500, maybe, and I'd be up a whopping $100 today, right? In comparison, I bought $2,500 worth of Bone at 60 cents. I'm up almost $5,000, right? $5,000 or $6,000. So you tell me which, and in as far as percentage wise, I'm up over 300 or 400% versus being up 10%. So if you just look at it from a simple percentage game, there's no way you can compare the gains that you can make through Shiba, through SHIB, Bone, Leash, She, especially when she comes out, I don't care what it is. I'm buying the heck out of it, right? Like I'm buying it because I want to be first, right? This ecosystem has been a proven winner, and it's a winner because of the number one utility that I go back to, which is community.
So
ahead,
I
Jason.
agree. I agree with everything you said, but I'm going to take a separate approach to that because I agree 100%. Like with both of you, right? If you're looking for straight percentage return gains, right, you're going to go after something that actually moves and you can buy way more of it, right? But what comes with that? What comes with that is more risk, and that's the difference, right? And I think you have to, and I say you as a euphemism for everybody, you have to decide how risky do you want to be. Because if I put my money in Ethereum and Bitcoin, then I at least know that I'm in a much safer and a lot more stable of an asset, right, than some of these other tokens. And I'm not saying that Shiba Inu and the ecosystem isn't stable. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that over a proven track record, you know that your money is going to be safe in BTC and ETH. It's no different than going to the stock market and throwing your money into SPY. Does SPY move? Are you going to get 100% gain on a SPY? No, not for, probably another 10 years, right? It's the same thing with Ethereum and Bitcoin, but I know that my money is going to compound over time and I'm going to get those gains if I have a long time to wait. Now, if I'm trying to build massive amounts of wealth really fast and I don't have the money to buy 30 Bitcoin, then yes, go ahead, play in your Shiba, play in your Bone, play in DeFi, play in your altcoins, whatever. That I 100% agree with. So that's where I think, it's all about the person so much so that's how I feel about it.
I agree 100% with Jay Seals. That's exactly what I was going to say. And I'll say this, my general rule of thumb, 60 to 70% Bitcoin, Ethereum, that other 30%, you go into the high risky place. Here's the thing. I've made my most money on the high risk plays and I've only allocated 30% of my portfolio to it. That's the thing. Right. I mean, you don't have to, because of the big gains you can have in the small caps and things that just launch. Again, to Jay Seal's point, a lot of risk associated. But if you have that Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe even throw in a couple other top altcoins that you like, Cardano, make that the backbone of your portfolio. Now you can take those risks knowing that you got the Bitcoins, the Ethereums on the backside of it, kind of keeping you stable, right?
So the only thing I would add to that is I think risk is relative. I agree. 100%. Again, I agree with everything everybody's saying, but I would also state this, is that if you were out there and you were saying to everybody, somebody's here. Oh, FedEx is here. So the dogs have got to bark for a minute. Hold on. Let me close the door. Hold on.
So I want to get to this question real quick. We'll let Austin jump back in because Crypt Life for real has been asking this a lot. And I want to make sure we're helping people out here. So I've seen this in there a couple of times. Can you please talk about platforms you use that have been good to work with? So Crypt Life for real, I'm guessing you're asking for platforms to buy and hold your cryptocurrency. We can go around the room here, but I'm not holding any of my crypto on any centralized exchanges anymore. It sounds like you're a newbie. So centralized exchanges would be like Coinbase, Crypto.com. I use those to off-ramp crypto or on-ramp crypto, but not hold crypto. Holding crypto is probably best suited for decentralized platforms like MetaMask, Trust Wallet, or just a couple there, Coinbase Wallet. So this is always a tough question.
I think it's important for context if he is new to say
I think that's what he's asking.
Right. So if for context, the reason why we don't hold, or most of us don't hold on centralized exchanges, we either hold in wallets or cold storage, which is a cold wallet. Like you can get a ledger, right? Go to ledger.com, only go to ledger.com and get them from there. But what I was going to say is the reason why we don't hold is because lately over the last 3 months, exchanges have lost our faith. Right, we've lost our faith and our trust in exchanges. Therefore, we don't hold the majority of our crypto over there. We only transact through them, which means that if I need to take money, I want to turn SHIB into ETH and then ETH into cash and then put that cash in my bank account. I have to use a centralized exchange to make that happen. So when he's saying we only transact through them, that's exactly what he's referring to. But platforms that I think are good for new beginners, I think 100% Coinbase is probably like the #1 platform. It reminds me of a Robinhood. It's got a great UI to it. It's good for the beginner trader. I think that's the best way to start. Secondary to that would probably be Crypto.com. I know a lot of people say Binance is the #1 exchange, but I can honestly say I've never used Binance, right? So as far as traders, more advanced traders, Bitmart, right? I think Bitmart is probably like the #1 place to go to kind of get your feet wet in a day trading platform. So those are Yeah, you love Binance?
Yeah.
Never used it. Honestly, I've never used it.
John also loves Bybit, which is a sponsor of the channel too. So if you're looking to
I
get
should
into,
probably say that one. My bad.
no, it's all
use
good. I mean,
Bybit as well.
yeah, John uses Bybit. Go
Crypto.com.
ahead, John.
I wouldn't trade on Crypto.com though. Their fees are
their fees are horrible.
Yeah.
Their fees are horrible.
And unless
But
you're
Bybit's been around since 2018. I know, John, you use that one. The cool thing about Bybit, you could copy the best traders. So you can actually copy great traders like John and others who put their things out there, and you can actually follow their lead. By the way, if you sign up today, first 50 people who sign up using my link down below, one of you are going to win a brand new iPhone. So check that out.
Here's the question: can I short BTC on Bybit?
you can
yes.
Yeah.
It's up to
And what do you-
100x?
And what do you
Up to
need?
100x.
What do you need deposit wise for cash to short and long BTC?
I don't think there is any limit.
There's no minimum. There's no limit.
There's no minimum.
Hold on.
Well,
Hey,
I'm
where's
sure $100
where's that link at? The link is in your description. Hold on.
Your link is down below in my description.
Don't click on his link. No,
Sign up,
don't do
deposit today, Hobbs, and be.
It's like, click on my link.
Listen, only a few more people need to deposit, and you're going to be in there for a chance to win a brand new iPhone too.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think you can earn up to like $100, $250 as well on Bybit.
I've been looking for ways to short or long Bitcoin, and we've been trying to just looking for the best platform. So
But Hobbs,
I'm
on
shorting
Bybit, you're going to need a
Bitcoin over
VPN.
there.
I got a
You're gonna
VPN.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Look,
Yeah, I got a
all-
yearly
all I'll
subscription
say,
to a VPN. I just gotta
if you're
figure out
wondering
what it
about shorting and longing crypto, especially Bitcoin, if you're not experienced, please do not do it.
Please don't
especially
do
if you
it.
can
Know
if you
what
can
you're
100x
doing.
leverage, please do not. Please
Don't
do
do it.
not.
Yeah.
You will get wrecked so fast. Please.
Yep.
I just want to put that disclaimer out right now. If you are not experienced, don't do it. You will. It's like fuck around and find out. Like,
Yeah, fuck around and
don't do it.
You will
Please.
lose your
Please.
funds.
Here's
quickly.
fuck around. You gonna find out, right? You got to find
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
That
Don't do it.
$20 you put in is gonna be gone.
Yeah. Go.
Oh, not only is it going to be gone, but you're also going to owe Bybit like $100,000 on top of that, because if you go negative, you have to pay that back.
Jay
So-
Seals, you need to make some merch that says that.
Bybit won't let you go negative.
There's,
Yeah,
there's
Oh,
your
Bybit
merch.
won't let you go negative.
I think they
Yeah,
just
it won't
liquidate
let you
your
go
cash
negative.
position.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. At least they got that, because some brokers won't. Some brokers will be like, go negative all you want to, try to make that money back, but if you can't, we coming for you. So
We coming.
yeah,
Yeah.
just be careful, guys. Be careful. It's all fun and games till somebody gets hurt. Put that on the
Yeah, but for normal trading,
Fuck around
all-
and find
all
out.
I
It's
ever
all fun
use
and
is
games
10
till
to
somebody
30x.
gets hurt.
Go ahead, John. What would you have?
10 to 30x. Never go above 30x.
Never
Yeah.
go above 30x leverage.
Yeah.
Oh, so when I click on your link, do I have to be in my VPN
Yes,
when I click
you
on
have
your
to
link?
be on your VPN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, when
Yeah,
I
be on
click
your
the link.
VPN.
You need to
Yep.
put that in the description, man. Hey, for US people, you might want to be in well, I thought you meant like logging in, I had to be on a VPN.
No, to create your account,
Trading account.
Okay.
you have to have a VPN. And
Okay.
by
I'll
by
have
the
to-
way, use Spain. It's easier. So that's what I use.
Spain?
Yeah, you Spain.
Okay.
Yep.
I use Spain. All right.
Yeah, sign up NordVPN. By the way, Austin, side note, I got a affiliate link with Nord. By the way, I messaged them on Twitter. I messaged them
You're
on
like, by the
Twitter to
way.
hook me up an affiliate. So
course you did.
NordVPN, if you're
Hey,
looking
how
for
much?
a-
How much is NordVPN a month, Zach?
Dude, it's
much
cheap
is
as
It's
hell.
actually it's
I
super
think
cheap.
5
I got
or
like a
10 bucks.
3-year. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
I think
cheap.
I got it like for like a year or 3 years or something like that.
It's-
I got it like
Yeah.
forever.
They got a good
That's-
affiliate deal. Yeah.
I think it's like $80 for the year.
It's cheap.
Wow.
It's
That's
dumb
cheap.
cheap. I bought it like last year when I think Alpha and them were telling me about it, and I bought it.
You got Nord too?
I
don't
bought
have
it
my
during
link.
Black
I don't have my
Friday,
link
and
down
I
there
think
yet.
it was $60 or $40 for
for like the
year.
year or something, right?
Yeah.
It's super cheap. The VPN is like super cheap.
Get that last one. Get that last
gotta
one
get-
back from Maroon Lady. Yeah, and we're starting. And Zach's got to
Oh,
start
yeah.
starting an OnlyFans account here pretty soon.
Yep.
Yo, this is-
Coming up
quick.
next.
Rune Lady is in our Discord, man. She's freaking hilarious, bro. Like,
That's
she
funny.
has,
I like
she has no chill at all.
That is
I love
awesome.
Rune.
That's
I like
awesome.
Rune.
And I'm taking pictures of my feet. Nobody's gonna pay for that shit, you know.
Right?
You'd be surprised, bro. You'd be surprised. Some
I got
creepy
an
folks
affiliate
out there on
link for that.
OnlyFans.
What'd you
Got
say,
an
John?
affiliate link
I
for
got
that for those
affiliate link
toes.
for that.
Yeah, I got an affiliate link.
Got you covered.
Oh shit.
right.
Guys, great to see you
Finder.
all. Quick question. What's your thoughts? We're going to wrap it up here in a few, guys, too. Quick question. What's your thoughts of having SHIB, Moan, Leash, etc. staked on Shiba Swap? How safe is it? You know, at first I was hesitant, but now I'd be good with it. I think Shiba Swap is certainly safe. They've had a couple issues, I think, with paying out the rewards. But I think that'll be kind of buttoned up once Shibarium comes out. I think that's kind of why they've had some issues. But what do you guys think? Do you guys use Shiba Swap?
No.
I
stake?
actually, I have. I don't use it. I haven't used it as of recently. And when mainnet Shibarium goes live, they're going to launch Shiba Swap 2.0 on the mainnet
Correct.
Shibarium. So there you go. So
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of staking anything anymore right now. So just objectively speaking, it's nothing against Shiba Swap or any other platform that does staking. I'm just kind of staying away from it until I get some clarification. So it's just my thought.
Daniel's going to offer 0.1 ETH for Austin's feet picks to get the ball rolling.
sold. They're on their way.
No more bid.
I'd do that.
Yeah,
Look at that, Angela. I'm not helping you peddle your feet picks. This has gotten. Oh, here we go. I love this. This is awesome.
Oh man, that's funny.
I got good looking feet, man. Come on,
We'll see what OnlyFans has to say about that.
God, how did we get onto this?
Oh, Feet Finder.
Feetfinder.com.
I guarantee it probably really exists. Oh,
Probably does. All right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up. Appreciate you guys as always. Appreciate everybody in the comments here on the stream, and have a fantastic weekend out there. And we'll see what happens with this cryptocurrency market over the weekend. Appreciate you guys as always. Enjoy it. Thanks everybody for joining. We'll see you.
Peace.